Thank you so much, Director. I think I've enjoyed this lecture. Uh, I just have few things just to compare as you are talking about Mauritius and South Sudan.
Mm.
Uh, we have seen the nice environment, the nice view of the Mauritius, and when you compare to South Sudan, does it mean that South Sudan doesn't have technology, or what is happening? Maybe it should be the same because it's the same country also which has independent, and they should have also the advanced technology also that can attract the country, people to come inside the South Sudan for tourist attraction. And we also have rivers, and we should have a nice also view for that.
Yes, thank you for that very thoughtful question. There is no free food. We are no longer living in the biblical world. So what you see in Mauritius is an effort, and that effort is driven by when you have able leaders, young leaders like you are appointed into those offices. You will be able to do the right thing. But if you don't have the right leaders, technocrats, so policies, there should be policies, there should be people who have the vision of taking us there, taking us to where Mauritius is. And then there should be the technical know-how, technical skills. So in my explanation, I said that for Mauritius to be the way it is, just like in other countries, in terms of positioning itself, they have boards that are responsible for marketing the country. They have what we call task force to market the country. Okay, so that task force is given money, and then they do all those things. Okay, but you cannot talk about marketing the country when you have wars. You cannot. They don't add up. So Mauritius is not the way it is because of accident, because there is no free food, there is no free lunch. You have to work to get what you have. So that is the problem. We don't have policies, and because one of the things that you should ask yourself next is, what is the digital strategy of South Sudan as a country? So you can only understand where we are going if you understand the history. So that's why this is an important discussion about the evolution of digital marketing. Technology has always shaped our lives in numerous ways, and similarly, marketeers have always adopted technological innovations to do their work. Now, what happens? There is usually that I want you to check, there is a model that explains how people adopt new technology. I want you to check that out. We have what we call early adapters. We have late adapters. So there is some kind of curve. I want you to look out for it and understand what happens. What generally happens is that you have very few people embracing technology when it has just come, and then later on, many people join the bandwagon, if I can use that word. And then we have very few people who join it late. Okay. So the process of adoption of technology is not usually the same across organizations or even individuals. Okay. So the key milestones happened that changed the way marketing is done. Printing press. The introduction of the printing press meant that mass communication actually began. And then emergence of radios and TVs, it provided new platforms for advertising, and then the internet. Okay, the internet is not actually very old. In 1980s and then early 1990s, that's where we're talking about the internet. Okay, so the internet is largely what has shaped marketing. Now we have moved it from analog to digital. What does analog mean? Usually here we're talking about physical form. Okay, physical form, media that is in their original and physical form. And in this case, I use this here to illustrate a person holding a newspaper. That is analog. But a person who can be reading a digital newspaper, that is digital. And these ones, the Daily Monitor has a digital newspaper, which has a feel that is almost close to that of a physical paper, because you can actually flip the pages on your computer or smartphone. Okay, so the key difference between analog and digital is the ability to interact, replicate, and distribute information, or basically content. The introduction of the World Wide Web, what we often call as WWW, marked a major milestone in digital marketing. And this actually happened in 1980s, the late 1980s, 1989. And then concepts to do with digital marketing were actually discussed or introduced in 1990s. Okay, but remember, email marketing actually came in earlier. Email marketing came in earlier in 1970s. So emails were being used before the web, what you use for surfing the internet. So when we talk about the evolution of digital marketing, we talk about emails that came in first, and then now websites, and basically the internet, and then issues to do with search engine optimization. And then I think most of you, when social media came in, you were born. The 2004, 2006, 2008, that is when we had social media coming up. Facebook came in which year? Yes, 2004. So 2004, I believe you were born. So you are guys who are born in the social media era. So around here. And now, mobile technology or mobile marketing is taking center stage. It's basically where we are in at the moment. And then where we are heading is the smart environment marketing that I earlier on talked about. So emails, like I said, came in first, and then this was early 1960s. It caused a lot of changes. Don't just look at emails that just the way we are looking at them now. Just look at emails as the way we are talking we are talking about AI. Okay, it's caused a lot of changes in how people communicate. I talked about the web, and there are key things that some years that you can take note of here. But the whole point is that creation of websites also increased. You can see that by 1996, over 300 websites were created by then. Okay, but what was the nature of these websites? These websites were what we term as static websites. Now, in this generation, we talk about dynamic websites. websites that you can interact with. Okay, so we shall also look at how do you interact with websites and things like that. Yahoo, there are years when if you did have a Yahoo account, if someone gives you an email and it is a Yahoo account, the people using Yahoo, I check it, usually older people using Yahoo. And then in the late 1990s, this is the .com era, and a lot of things have happened. A lot of investments, a lot of growth, and the field keeps expanding and expanding. Okay. You can also see that the number of people who are accessing the internet is actually increasing. And by 2007, about 1.3 billion people are users of internet, about 20% of the world population using internet. So they're spending more time online, and that means that you can always market your things online. In summary, we are saying that emails came in first, and then web came in, and then followed by followed by social media. And now we are living in what we term as the Web 4.0. This is where we are. Social media, the social media boom was here, 2000 to 2009. Okay. And now the future is where when you're interacting with digital marketing tools or platforms, it is possible that you can get the feel, you can get immersed, you can get emotionally connected, and also sensory connections with what you're actually interacting with. So that's where we are basically going.